Well, welcome. Good afternoon. I know we're both on East Coast. It's now 12 o'clock, so excited
Yes.
to have you close out our inaugural panel. So, um,
How has it been so far? How's the conference been? How has it been?
no, it's been incredible. It's really been incredible. My phone just messages. A lot of people have signed up for Collaborate and Elevate. And
Oh, that's great.
um, and just the panelists learning from each other. So it's really just been overwhelming. This was a quick idea that in November, and Lenny's my business partner. So, Lenny, I mean, designed over 60 or something images, and we threw up a website, and um,
Yeah.
but it just all organically came together, and just full disclaimer, everyone, this conference was pretty much $0 budget. We didn't pay any speakers, I can't
No,
afford.
see, first of all, this is not how you say this
Okay.
because what you did is like basic entrepreneurism. Like you saw a need in the market and you saw it and you immediately filled it. That's it. Like that's what you did. You were just being an entrepreneur. That's it. So don't talk about like all of that. Like people can build something worth something in a week.
Yeah.
I'm glad that people are getting stuff from it, and I can't wait to. Are you going to do it in person next year?
100%, 100%. So there
Okay.
are conversations, Miami, there are conversations with them. I don't know if I could get 40 speakers. But
Yeah, that's crazy.
yeah, I
I
would
mean,
love to
I
do.
don't know. Around Art Basel, like everybody's in town. So, wait, did I introduce myself? Should I introduce
Yeah.
myself?
So let's jump into it. I'm gonna let you give a formal introduction.
Okay. Hello. Hi. My name is Tanisha Carr. I'm the owner, editor-in-chief of Blanc magazine. It's an high-end luxury fashion and art and music magazine that focuses on the lens of underrepresented artists around the world. I am also a contributing editor at Inc. On Inc., I have developed and built a platform and community called All the Hats. And at All the Hats, I focus on the journey of Black women entrepreneurs. We profile some of the fantastic speakers that you had over the past couple of days. Um, and we share tips and tricks and inspiration, and we are building a community. So that's me in a snippet, but like my focus and my goal in life is to tell the stories of Black women. That's all I care about. All I care about, I'm here for Black women. That's all I'm here for. So any way I can do that, whether it's through the luxury lens, through the business lens, that's my focus. So that's probably why I'm here, maybe.
Yeah,
And we met 2 years ago at Black Tech Week.
we did. Yeah.
Um, yeah, like I was really connected to you. You were um just all about like this gonna sound real cheesy, but you were just all about trying to figure out how to collaborate with everybody. You were just like, what? I know that's what I'm like. I don't want to sound like, yo, I wasn't trying to be all like that. Like, but you were walking up to everybody saying, like, what do you need? How can I support? And you were like, I was like, who is this dude? Like, he just walking up to everybody. And that's how we met. And, you building what you've been building it's been great to see and, see from afar. And so, I can't wait to see what you continue to grow and build this brand into because you're helping people. So,
I appreciate it.
um,
I want to touch on that because you do a few different things, and we'll come back, but maybe because this year, thank you, you put myself and a guy featured as well, Johnny Turnage, together, and we did an event together at Black Tech Week at Founders House. So maybe you could just kind of talk about that. Is that one of the initiatives you helped create at Inc. and, maybe just so you can share a little bit about the impact, of Founders House.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the interesting part about being an entrepreneur is like the loneliness that comes with it. And especially like if you're building in a silo, like, yo, I made my magazine for many, many years in my house, like by myself, with the dog on the floor, watching office reruns, like making it. And when you're like that, it's really, really lonely. So when I opened up my curtains and I like looked outside, I realized that I need other people. Like as much as I don't, I feel like I don't need other people, I do need other people. And looking around, there were no communities that felt authentically for Black entrepreneurs. And I know there's a lot of communities popping up, and I know there's like pockets of things happening, but I wanted to be a part of building a community, or like making a space that, and it didn't have to be like specifically Black. That's not what, like, even my magazine is like, yes, I focus on the Black lens, and I focus on telling stories through the Black lens, but we tell stories about everyone. I wanted to make a space where Black entrepreneurs can go into that space and feel welcome and network and get access and resources and opportunities. And the editor-in-chief of Inc., Scott O, he felt the same way. I mean, him. He's a great guy. He's really passionate about building communities. So it was kind of a no-brainer to connect with Black Tech Week, to build a Founders House there, and to give Black entrepreneurs the same access and the same resources that other entrepreneurs that are connected to the Inc. ecosphere has.
Yeah.
And I think it was great. I think it's great. And so just building on that, just figuring out where else we can show up with all the hats, with Black in Business, which is another initiative that Inc. has, just kind of figuring out how we can genuinely support Black entrepreneurs. And again, that's through telling stories. Like if you are an entrepreneur and your story is seen on a big platform, people then know that about your product and about what you're building and what you're making.
Yeah.
So giving entrepreneurs a spotlight, giving entrepreneurs access to other entrepreneurs that may help them grow and build their businesses. That's kind of where I'm living right now, because the stats are telling us that, I know I'm saying it to you, but ain't no VC money coming. Like it's not coming for me. It's just not. Like that's what the statistics say, that it's not coming. There's no help coming. But like I feel like we don't need it, because if we can really figure out how to build genuine communities,
Yes.
we have each other. Like I'm in rooms with Black people that have millions of dollars that are building businesses. Like we have each other. We have the finances. We have the access. We have the resources. We just need to figure out how to build a genuine, authentic community so we can uplift each other.
There you
Collaborate
go.
and elevate.
Yeah. Well, no, you said it. And that's all. I'll give Danny Ortiz and Michael Red a shout out, because I think Collaborate and Elevate was started when I was working out of their office for free. And and it was just all about connecting them. So it's just all about, paying it forward. And I think that, like you said, several things that are super important. And one thing I want to touch on is, how you have an Inc. partnership and you have your own company. And there are several people tuned in who also have a 9 to 5 and also have their own business or their own ideas. So maybe
Yeah.
tell folks, I guess, which came first. I know the answer, but maybe you could tell folks which came first. And then also just about the partnership in balancing both. And then,
Right.
yeah, I'll let you go there.
Even before I started my business, I started Blanc 10 years ago. Even before I started that, I've never really worked for anyone else. I was just thinking back. I had a job at Mailbox Etc. when I was like 17, I think. And I worked in the dark room at my university for like 3 years. But outside of that, I've never worked for anyone. It was like my whole life has been my father, his name was Roscoe. He had two cheesesteak stores in South Philly. So he didn't graduate high school, but he ran his own businesses. And so like my whole existence was about figuring out how to create something that I own. So that was my first move. And so I made Blanc because I needed to own, like, there were no um, fashion magazines telling the stories that I wanted to tell at that time. Like this, the way fashion magazines look now is very, very new.
Yeah.
It doesn't, it's there's a lot of tokenism that has happened over the past couple of years, a lot of D and I money that is being like tossed around that is being utilized, and it's not really kind of, anyway, we're not going to talk about that right now. We're not going to talk about the brand stuff until much later. We're talking about building. So I built Blanc first because I had to have ownership. Thank you.
Yeah.
And after that, it was just again on the same path. Like my partnership with Inc. is all about telling stories of Black people. So however I can do that, whatever avenue I can take or build or kind of manifest,
Yeah.
that is what my focus is to tell stories of Black people.
And I love that.
Um, yeah, so it made sense. It made sense in all categories, and the build was genuine and authentic. Inc. What Inc. did, so it's why I partnered with them. With Blanc, I mean, you know, I had the idea of making a magazine before I knew how to make a magazine because like the business of making a magazine is hard. It's an impossible thing to do. Um, but I knew that if I could figure out how to do it, I knew that I could probably do it just as good as most people. So I think, you know, like building something was in my blood, and I made Blanc, and everything else that I do now is just an extension of that sort of storytelling.
And just for folks who don't know, maybe you could name some of the brands that you work with through Blanc.
Yeah. So I'm really lucky to be one of the only Black female-owned fashion magazines that have big luxury partnerships. My partners are LVMH, which include Louis Vuitton and Fendi and Dior. I also partner with Gucci has been my partner for several years. They're one of our strongest supporters. I'm also partnered with a couple of the fashion federations, so CFDA and also Camera Moda of Italy. And it's just all kind of, again, circled around the same thing, trying to create spaces where Black creatives can create and tell stories that are authentic to us. And past that, working with directly with fashion brands to figure out, like going into rooms and seeing that there are no people of color in every single brand that you go into is really disheartening.
Mhm.
Um, I think um, I had to make things like Blanc, and I hope people can figure out how to make other um, media platforms. I need some competition, is what I'm saying. I hope people can figure out how to build more platforms and have more conversations that include the luxury brands, because it'll be easier to infiltrate. I mean, like there's like, you know, I just the goal of Blanc was to act as a Trojan horse, right? To kind of sneak in the back door and kind of like drop out the belly of the horse and you
Mhm.
know rough stuff up. And I just want to kind of figure out how to do that deeper. And so anyway, with the partnerships with the luxury brands, I hope to do that. And I'm doing stuff like um I find a photographer in Macon, Georgia, who doesn't have access or resources, and I say, hey, like my partner Gucci, they'll give us some money, and we'll do a beautiful shoot together. And then that photographer that didn't have access or resources then suddenly is in the Gucci ecosphere
Yeah.
and is now shooting Gucci work. So
Mhm.
just figuring out ways to uplift creatives and give people opportunities. And I don't remember what the question was.
Yeah, no, no, you answered the question. I have a follow-up question because I think one thing that we should probably touch briefly on is just, where you lived, where you went to school, the amount of education research that you did. I know you
Yeah.
live in London. So maybe you could touch a little bit on that because I do think when I look at your company, I see a lot of that influence that maybe you might not be exposed to in the States, right? So do you
Yeah.
contribute that as well to, the development of the brand and the partnerships?
Um, sure. I grew up in Philly. Hood, 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 hood. And, and I lived in London for 10 years where I went to university. And both of those things directly influence the way I see the world, of course. Um, I do photo shoots with my 94-year-old grandmother wearing Marc Jacobs runway. That's how that's influenced how I work. You know, I think yeah, it's I kind of, I'm the daughter of an immigrant, and again, like my father was an entrepreneur, so hard work and ownership was always something important to me. And when I realized that there was no real place for me at traditional fashion magazines, I decided to make my own. Um, so I guess I traveled the world, throughout my 20s, and that kind of affected how I saw the world. But I think, that hood, 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 those roots, it's just, it's something about where you grow up and trying to make sure, when I was a kid, I like looked at Vogue and I didn't see anything familiar. Like it all seemed kind of like alien to me.
Yeah.
And my goal was to like make something that every person could see themselves on those pages. And I think I'm doing a good job of that. I think so.
You definitely are. You definitely are. Um, so when you look at, I guess from your view, you mentioned you want some competition. I guess for people who are aspiring, to get into the fashion, like what tips would you give them? Whether it's getting a job at somewhere or is it starting their blog? What type of things do you think would help?
Um, I guess kind of really being super intentional about your mission. Like, if it's like that, oh, you just like fashion or whatever, then that's cool. Like, I don't know, whatever people that do that, just people without intentions, I don't know what they do. I guess start a blog. I don't know.
Yeah.
But but if you have a mission, like if your mission is to figure out how to create a sustainable cycle of fashion, or figure out how to make more diverse media, or figure out what your intention is, and then figure out who is working as close to that intention as possible, and ride with them for free or for whatever. That's what I say. But you have to figure out your why. It can't just be like, oh, I think fashion is cute. Like that's stupid. Like that's a dumb reason to do anything. Um, sorry.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Speaking,
I keep forgetting other people might be here.
and I'm monitoring the chat. And anyone, if you have questions, feel free. We have about 9 minutes left. One thing we met each other. We met each other in Cincinnati, I think, but I feel like we met each other twice in Miami.
Yeah.
Folks who don't know anything about Art Basel, maybe can you share a little bit about it and why you like attending there and from your perspective?
Yeah, like it's real funny. Our boss used to be real, real white. And like when I say that, I love my white brothers and sisters, but it used to be like real white and real old. And that's just how it was. It was like actually about the art. Like, let me ask you something.
Yeah,
Did you go to the convention center?
I didn't. I never have.
Wildin'. And the thing is that like I can't even tell you the last time that I went to Art Basel and went to the convention, which is crazy. I did go to Scope though, but it's crazy. Like you don't go to the so Art
Yeah.
Basel is the vibe. Like I think that is like the new destination, even for entrepreneurs. I think as an entrepreneur, like you should really put it on your to go place. And I know it's hard because it's like a conference every month. Like I don't even know how many conferences I went to like five conferences this year. How many did you go to?
Um, Outside of Ohio, just three.
Oh, that's not bad. Oh, okay. Like last year, like every month you were like, "Oh, I'm going to this conference." I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
Well, in 2022,
Um,
it's crazy, but 2023,
yeah.
I did a lot in Ohio. I did like 20 events in Ohio,
Oh,
but
wow.
yeah, but so it was very
Wait. Are you going outside of what are you doing outside of Ohio? What events and stuff are? Is it okay if we talk about this during this?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's all
Yeah.
connected, right? It's all about building community, right? Like,
Yeah.
when I moved to Ohio, to Cleveland specifically, it was more about, okay, understanding the neighborhood state. So 2 hours away from Cleveland's Pittsburgh, and
Hmm.
I go to Pittsburgh, I meet, well, there's two Black $50 million funds, they're both under 40. So I was able to connect and just meet so many people. I think Demola is on the call. He's a founder. Quincy Taylor, right? Right. And the thing about me going to Pittsburgh, there are people in Cleveland that I knew, but we kind of weren't able to get connected. But through a connection in Pittsburgh,
Right.
we were able to line up. So it's just neighboring states, Detroit as well. But I'll be honest with you, meeting Johnny Turnage in Detroit, it was like, well, I don't need to do anything. I'm just gonna support his stuff and go to his stuff,
Yes, right.
right?
Yes.
Um, and in Ohio specifically, I felt like there just was not a really good event connecting founders and investors. There's a lot of events where service providers are there and they'll try to sell you insurance and things like that. But I wanted to create like an intimate event where founders could come together and learn from each other, investors could come together, and really, so the first time they're not meeting each other in a boardroom, because there's a
Let me let me ask you something, Manny. So I'm at one of your events and I have a company. Oh wait, I do have a company. And I'm looking for an investor. Tell me three things that I should say to an investor within 5 minutes of meeting them.
Yeah, well, great. Hopefully, let's say they align with what you invest in, right? So
Right.
I think some
Yeah.
people, so if it is, I think it's about, you know, I think it's not about being transactional. If I'm just let's start there. Like an investment
Okay.
is not a transactional process. So I
This
don't
is
think,
this is real advice for my life right now. So
yeah, no, it's fine. So I think a lot of founders make a mistake by just coming right up to an investor and saying, "Hey, this is what I'm doing. This is how much I'm making. You should invest, or you're going to miss out." I'm going to be very honest. I, most VCs don't mind missing out on deals like that. If I'm being honest, so I think it's more about a communication and getting a cadence, right? So, I think telling the story, right? So if I'm you, I'm like, look, hey, I was born in Philly. I studied 10 years in London, and then I developed this product, and now we're working with large brands, and we have a solid team. And also I do this with Inc., right? To really foster and build community. But now, I see the vision of where this could go. And right now, I would love to partner up with you because I know you've done XXX and you've seen this. So I feel like you would be a great partner to help me take this to the next level. Um,
right. So don't show up with a PowerPoint presentation at at the meetup talking about some
no, because
look at my magazine.
yeah, you'll be flabber like you'll be
I show
surprised.
up all the time with my magazine. I'll be like, look at it, y'all. Look at my magazine. Is that okay? Can I show up with my magazine?
That is okay. I think it's showing
Oh,
up there with the
okay.
magazine, talking about the magazine, but it's a conversation. Like they're
Yeah.
they're an investor, so they're going to be interested. And a lot of people talk too much. at the end of the day. My mom used
Yes.
to say you have two ears and one mouth for a reason. Um, so I do think that, at least from my experience, I'm just being honest, I only listen to investors or VCs. I'm 35, so I paid attention to people that are doing it at least 10 years. And if you like, it's a small list. So I think it's just a conversation. I think we try to rush this for no reason, and it's just not a transaction.
That's very important. Like, yeah, we do try to rush stuff. It's like, it's not even like about desperation. It's just be like, yo, I just want to get the deal done. I just want to get it done. But yeah, we do rush things. It's like someone said to me that like most of us are on like date 2 talking to investors. But in our head, we are already married. We already got the kids. We already got the dog. We already got everything. But the investor's like, yo, this is only day 2. I can't even remember your last name yet.
Literally.
So that's really important feedback, ain't it?
Yeah, and if you're a first-time founder, it's tough, right? There's just if you've never raised, a few million or never been a part of an exit. So that's just
Yeah.
a challenge. But I think humility is the superpower. Knowing what you don't know,
Mm.
knowing how this institution or individual can support you. And I think those are the best relationships, because the other side of it is when things aren't going bad, or when things are going bad, because it's always in a way kind of messy. The fact that you were honest with them and you could reach out to them and talk about the negative things, and right, I think it's just that. So
It's just a marriage. Listen, what's going on with the brand for next year? What are you guys doing? What's up?
great question. Yeah, so next year, we're doing about 15 events in Ohio. So you brought up Ohio. So Ohio Tech Happy Hour,
Does Ohio really need that many events? If that
it
wasn't a
does.
burn on Ohio.
You've only been to Cincinnati. I I want to fly you out to Columbus or Cleveland at least. You
To
need to
Cleveland?
gotta
Oh
come here.
man.
Yeah.
How's the food there?
Oh my gosh, the food is incredible.
I
But
have literally never heard anyone say that ever outside of you in this moment. So I don't know.
you need more fresh food.
What else outside of Cleveland? What else outside of Ohio?
Yeah, I mean, if you like roller coasters, we come to Cedar Point, do the thing. Uh,
What else are you guys doing outside
we're
of
gonna do
those
about,
events?
we love Pittsburgh, so we're gonna do about 6 events in Pittsburgh bi-monthly.
Ah, cool.
Maybe 4 or 6. I'm gonna figure that out. And then the big event, in the venture world is Ohio VC Fest. That's an annual thing.
Mm.
South by Southwest, I'll definitely be at next year.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, I'll be there too with Ink. We'll be there at our founder's house. It'll be
Okay,
fantastic.
maybe we could incorporate some collaborate, elevate action,
Right, right.
keeping the conversation going and build a community, honestly. So,
That's
you know,
right.
it's really I'm only focused on connecting people on steroids next year. That's my main focus.
On steroids. I love it. Yes. That's it. That's me too. I think next year I'm really gonna like focus on like moving with real intention with my partnerships. And it's really hard to say no to brands that want to give you a lot of money, but if it doesn't like benefit you in the long run, like don't do it. So I'm with you about being strategic next year. I'm really gonna be focused on not on steroids because I don't know if that's good for the body, but
Yeah.
uh, maybe a different mellow drug. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you, Tanisha. I could talk to you for hours.
Yeah, I know, right? Thank you so much, Manny. Congratulations. I'm so glad that I was a part of this. I can't wait to do it in person with you next year. It's gonna be dope. See you at South by.
No,
You're gonna be doing a whole bunch of stuff in Ohio. That's fantastic. Congratulations.
thank you. Thank you. And appreciate you for amplifying stories and doing everything that you're doing.
Of course, of course.